create this unique feel that is perhaps even the heart of the whole industry. And the fact that I was watching a match without any of those sounds, just two guys hitting each other inside the ring, and I was listening to the typical ring sounds, but I was like keep wondering where the audience was. And just once again, this is after I already watched last week with John Oliver. I already watched the new version of Trevor Noah's The Daily Show, the new version of the Daily Social Distancing Show. So I'm not supposed to be as a surprise. And it was like I was in this moment in which it was like the first time realizing how the entertainment industry actually got kind of blown out of existence due to this situation. And boy, was I wrong. Was I wrong? Because it wasn't blown out. Many artists are reaching out to their social media, and they're delivering great performances. What this does is that it does open a Pandora's box, but I didn't realize that in this moment in which we are right now. I was still panicking and reeling that it wasn't like that. And then I started watching AEW. AEW, they have a few of their crew members, some bookers, some staff, and they were kind of whistling a little bit and making some noises, so it wasn't like at all familiar, but it wasn't so creepy as WWE full silent mode. It was a little bit more comforting, but it was still the same what the fuck experience that I was having with Raw. And the worst part is that there's this wrestler, it's called Matt Hardy, and in recent years he has rebranded himself, and he has created this whole new, really layered character, which is Broken Matt Hardy, and it's a really fun character. So he was out of WWE. He was supposed to make his huge debut in AEW, and then he has to do it under this format, and I think that was like even more hurtful, because this was supposed to be this huge moment in this new promotion that is, trying to get on its ranks, and it's doing really, really good. So on and all, it was really, really, really sad to see what was supposed, because it was really huge when they returned in WrestleMania, but they were like the typical Hardy Boys, but enhancing it with new Broken Matt persona, so it wasn't like a whole experience, even though it was really exciting. But it was supposed the moment of this star to go way over, and it didn't happen because of this whole situation. So I'm in this position in which I'm already scared again. What is this? What is going to happen to the entertainment industry? Is the entertainment industry completely bust? And when I started, thinking, and I was like, I also work with the foundation Free Juana, so I was worried because we had the rally, and this was mounting up, and didn't look at any moment that it was gonna, slow down. So I already kind of knew by this point, when I was thinking about the 420 rally right here in Puerto Rico, that we were not gonna get to do it in the way that we always do it. So automatically, what I was started thinking, and I started thinking about a lot of things. It was really hard in the sense that I had to take care of my family. I had to pay the obligations. I didn't feel safe, and not because of my employer, because my employer has been quite diligent, and they have provided us of a lot of gear, cleaning gear, safety gear. So the main scare that I have in my job is that of the patients. I'm a bartender, so it's the patients. You don't know who's coming through that door. I actually work in front of a hospital, which makes it even way scarier. So when all of this was developing, I started becoming a mess. A whole emotional mess, and it's something that started to happen. I started noticing that it started to happen to a lot of people. So, in the last week, the president of the foundation Sharif Repullo. She started telling me that she had put up together this live event, and we were working on it. So then I started to get scared. It's like I'm freaked out of this experience that I have seen, and this is me as me consuming the product of entertainment, and now I'm going to make one. And then it came the 420. And this is the reason why I couldn't do this on Sunday, because I was going to be, I'm scared, I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is the funny part. I came, we did it on the foundation, so we were a small group of people, and besides the fact that we were a small group of people, it made it more personal, because when you are in a Capitolio in Puerto Rico, you have the cops kind of staring at you, even though, it's supposed to be a safe haven area just for that day, but you have that problem. So when we arrived, when I arrived, I was like, I stayed like a couple of minutes longer in the car because I was really scared. And when things started to develop and we started recording and the streams were going everywhere, it was like I felt way more relaxed, and after I felt way more relaxed, the show kept going. It kept going on schedule. It did never skipped a beat. And after that, it was an amazing job. And I have to give a shout out to Raul Rodriguez, who's the owner of Alternative Therapy Dispensaries in Puerto Rico, and he put out an amazing apart with the original scene, Lion Dove, Cesario versus Disorder, Sharif Repullo with Mike Martin, Javier from Viva Nativa, Shango Rebel, we had Newton, we have lots of people, lots of good people, because the main thing about the 420 rally and the importance of it is the fact that some of us, in the case of Puerto Rico, we only have access to medical marijuana, unlike in the States. And the thing is that people in Puerto Rico still getting jailed for cannabis possession, small amounts of cannabis possession too. So it is really important. The rights of the patients sometimes are within this board that is kind of tends to lean up to the political side, and it's really, really important to create the awareness that even though we have made huge advancements in the last 10 to 15 years, the thing is that the struggle that we have with cannabis and against cannabis prohibition, it is really important to address it. It is really important that we speak about it and that we still fight for it, because it's an access to a healing factor that sets aside from all these chemicals that we have been pouring into our bodies for decades. So the show went way awesome, was really awesome, and I even got to host an auction for the first time. Never hosted an auction, so it was really fun. One of my friends started chatting. We have a latency problem in which we couldn't see all of the message in real time, so it kind of seemed like he was bidding against himself, and it was really funny. And then I started realizing this is one of the best 420s that I had in my life. This is not so bad after all. And when I had that specific thought cross in my mind on that day, it's 4/20/2020, it was like, this is not so bad. This is not so bad after all. This is kind of a really forced out evolution on the entertainment business, because there is a point in the way that we're treating the planet. We cannot discard the fact that this, even if it is for a year, even if it is for 2 years, the thing is that I started realizing that it's really, 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 really good. This is something that we can work with. Not the best, because it will never beat the experience of a live concert. It will never beat the experience of doing things the way that we used to do things. It will not replace the fact and the memories that we used to get when we were hanging out, for example. But it's an adaptation. It's something that, in the case of artists itself, because I'm speaking to the entertainment industry, and I'm sorry if I'm not including bars, if I'm not including the venues, but it's like newspapers. It's like all kind of ways of doing things. And the thing is that what we need to do is that it's really hard, and I know that, but in the way of artists, it gives them this advantage that in which they can be more personal with their fans. They can develop a better connection with their fans. The thing in the main challenge in the entertainment industry is the fact that they have to find ways in which they have to market themselves in other ways. You cannot live with the fact of I'm gonna get to do this many shows, because now you have this new reality in which you could have a pandemic and you cannot be selling a lot of shows. So we go back to merch, we go back to t-shirt sales, we go back to something that we lost, I think, between the 80s and in recent years, is that we are more prone into like clothing brands, and we are not using clothing as a statement. And the thing is that this is an era in which we will have more statements than branding. Branding is still really strong, but as time will keep going by, artists have this huge necessity in which they have to develop themselves and develop ways to market themselves, ways to sell music much more efficiently. For example, using platforms like some sort of like pay-per-view kind of platform, and engaging your fans enough to buy onto that product, create a price. It's a whole new challenge, because it's from this point on, it's a new industry. Even if we love it, even if we hate it, I love hanging out. I love concerts. I'm 37 years old. I'm not like I started telling you in this story. It's not like in the beginning I was like really skeptical and really scared, really sad, because what we are all witnessing is the death of an old era and the birth of a new one, just in front of our faces, and that's what we're facing right now. And the thing is that even though, and I explained this, that I love concerts, I love hanging out, I love being around people. Well, not so much as I got older. I have to be completely honest on that one. But the thing is that it is the new reality for artists, for us as fans. This is the product, and we decide if we're gonna consume it or we're not. Because there's an extra mile that has to be played by the entertainment industry in developing what do we do now. It's not that you have to get away from that mentality because of the old mentality in which the industry, because this is one of the positive facts of everything and the death that we are experiencing and the whole horror of this pandemic. But it's the fact that it has forced the whole entertainment industry to rebuild itself, to start getting away from all this cookie-cutter material that we have been feeding off for years and years, and in which we have to turn into media platforms on social media. We had to turn to Netflix, we had to turn to Hulu, because our Prime, our old sources for media consumption are not even close to giving us to what we want. And let's say, and there's also platforms like YouTube that has actually changed the fact that I can watch what I want and what comes to my mind in the moment that I want to watch it, It's like it's the new reality. And now with the whole social distancing guidelines, the fact that this is a pandemic, we have